I'm remarkably unretired myself recently, and I'm performing again with OMD, and we're on tour with Simple Minds at the end of the year, and we're going to be releasing a new album next year, and it's very exciting.
Don't tell Jim Kerr, but when I heard that Simple Minds were coming to town and they were going to be supported by OMD, I was more excited about the guest act than the headline act. Shh.
I won't tell him.
Don't tell
him. No, shh.
It must be good to be back.
It's very surprising. I packed it in '96 because it felt like I was banging my head against a brick wall. I mean, nothing seemed more kind of past its sell-by date than a band perceived as an 80s synth band at the height of Britpop in the mid-90s, you know. So I went off to do other things and had kids and chilled out. And then a couple of years ago, people started to say, you know, would you like to tour? We'd like to see you again. You know, we'll pay money. There's an interest. And we were like, really? Seriously? Can we do this? I don't think we really believed that there was sufficient interest, but we put some tickets on sale and we sold all the gigs out, and hey presto, off we went again. I
think you guys in the 1990s was music's biggest own goal. The fact, I mean, you mentioned this, you know, the Britpop era. If I look back to songs like "Walking on the Milky Way," which I've spoken about with you, and you know that is like, it's like the anthem of my life. That tune, that song fitted perfectly in the Britpop era. I think it was just a missed opportunity that music let go, wasn't it?
Well, I think that really it was the perception of the band. I mean, people weren't listening to the record; they were just like, "Who's it by? Oh, you know, we don't play that anymore." You know, and so literally, I mean, Radio 1 wouldn't play it because it wasn't for their target audience, and because Radio 1 wouldn't play it, Woolworths wouldn't stock it. And those were the days when, you know, like 40% of the singles sold were sold on a Saturday in Woolworths. You know, so it was like, you know, you were fighting with one arm tied behind your back, and I just thought, I'm banging my head against the wall here, so I'll give up. But it's very kind of you to say it was a missed opportunity. I thought it was one of the best songs I'd ever written, and it was one of the reasons why I thought, well, it's time to retire because I can't do a better one than that, and if that's not going to be a bigger hit, I'm wasting my time, you know. Yeah,
you must have felt like Midge did when he put O Vienna out and got beaten to number 1 by Joe Dolce.
Hey, at least he got to number 2.
That's true. When you're touring with Simple Minds, will we get to hear those tunes again?
I think what we've decided to do is we are, you know, for our die-hard fans, I'm sorry, we're going to dispense with the art. We're not going to be playing the weird B-sides and album tracks. I think effectively because the reason we're playing with Simple Minds is it's our opportunity to play to hopefully an even bigger audience than we would get ourselves, although our own shows have been doing very well. So we're going to basically go for the jugular. We're going to play 1 hour and we're going to play 15 hit singles because we can.
Brilliant. What's your favourite out of all those? It's a bit like asking a dad to choose his favourite child, but
exactly.
When you sing them live, there will be one that makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. Which one is it?
I think probably because it was our biggest first international hit, and we always close the set with it, so I know it's always, you know, by the time we get to it, everything, it will be absolutely rocking. It'd probably be Enola Gay.
Really? Oh, do you know, Maid of Orleans is the one that I was pitching for.
Well, that's the one that I just get exhausted in, because that's where I peak in my epileptic windmill dance that everybody still laughs at me for.
Are you still doing that?
I had every intention of having some dignity in my middle age when we started playing again, but unfortunately, faced with a live audience and live music, I slipped back into the old mode.
Well, I always wanted the opportunity to tell you this, but when I was 11 years old at secondary school, I got to take in Maid of Orleans on it. Do you remember those old little cassette recorders that you used to plug into ZX Spectrums? Those pathetic little things. Because we were learning about Joan of Arc in history, and the teacher allowed me to take in that song. I had to dub it off onto a cassette, I hope you don't mind, and take it in. And as an 11-year-old, we sat there and we listened to it. It was the best history lesson ever. So thank you for that.
Oh, I'm glad to have obliged. Thank you for telling me that. That's interesting.
Isn't it funny, because you would never have known that?
Well, no, not really. No, I wasn't hanging around school sort of when I was 21 and you were 11, and people would have talked about it, you know. But no, but you see, things like that, it's that's really cool, because, you know, when you do music, you know, you're not changing the world, you're not solving world hunger or creating world peace, but you're making little 3 and 4 minute snapshots that are part of people's lives. Like, you remember that from taking it into school and having a buzz off it, and that you know, when you hear stories like that, it's very rewarding. So thank you. There wasn't in our minds any of the sort of competition in those days between Liverpool and Manchester that there seems to be in people's minds now. I mean, we were just surprised and delighted that we got the option. I mean, Tony Wilson from Factory Records was actually the first guy to say to us, what you do is the future of pop music, and we were actually deeply offended because we thought we were making experimental music. And he was like, no, you should be on top of the pops, but we're too small to get you there, so we'll use this as a demo. We'll release a single and use it as a demo. And that's exactly what happened. So it turned out that he was absolutely right, and we'd completely misconstrued ourselves. We didn't realise that we were as poppy as we turned out to be.
And you were the you're the man who's credited with finding Atomic Kitten, and I know we've spoken about that in the past. Are you still proud of that?
I am proud of the record I made with them and the songs we did, that we had such fun in the first few years. I'm a little concerned about the fact that I guess I'm to blame for inflicting Kerry Katona upon herself, because I think as bad as it is to watch from the outside, I think it's a bit distressing to see what's happening in Kerry's life these days. It was just absolutely great fun. I mean, those girls were all like 17 when I started working with them, and it was an absolute blast. And we had no idea what we were doing. We completely got lucky, and it was just a bundle of fun for a couple of years.
Are you ever in touch with any of them these days? Does Liz McLaren phone you up and say, "Tar"?
Interestingly enough, actually, Liz McLaren phoned me up a couple of weeks ago and said, "Can we write some songs for my solo album?"
Really?
Yes, which is cool, which is really cool. It's quite weird because not only that, I bumped into Jenny Frost in an airport last month, right. and actually Kerry asked me to do an interview for her. She was doing a special for MTV about her bipolar disease, but whilst they were following her around, of course, she went into severe meltdown the last few months. So the interview with me is of no interest to them whatsoever because they've got much better footage of Kerry hitting the self-destruct button, which is made for better TV. So, and in hindsight, maybe I'm glad I'm not, because I actually said on camera, I said, "Kerry, why are you doing Trainwreck TV for MTV? Because she can actually act. I've seen her in an Irish TV series and she's brilliant." And I was like, "Why don't you get a real job? You can act. Why are you doing this rubbish for MTV? Because they're never going to show that on MTV, are they?"
No. Yeah, she is. I mean, she's a talented girl who, for one reason or another, hasn't gone down the route that you would have expected to. Does it? Looking at her now, it must be like a concerned uncle, maybe. I don't know.
I feel sorry for her, but I don't think she's in a place where she can be helped by anybody other than herself. But maybe she's not. She's incapable of doing it. I love Kerry to bits, and I hate to see the mess she's got herself into. But, I mean, unfortunately, many years ago, it seems to be coming true. I jokingly described her as a Titanic looking for an iceberg, and that she just seems to invariably kind of, whenever she manages to right herself, she goes and sinks herself again.
How prophetic of you. Listen, it's good talking with you, Andy, as always. Next time you're in Sheffield, pop in and we'll have a beer.
That sounds very good. I'll take you up on that. Well, we'll be in Sheffield in December then with Simple Minds. All right, I'll see you on the 5th.
I look forward to it. Cheers, Andy.
Thank you. Bye.